Pokemon ROM hacks, the process of modifying a ROM image or ROM file of a video game to alter the game's graphics, dialogue, levels, gameplay, and or other elements. It is also the main reason why my dad, Junichi Masuda, won't work with me anymore. Please call me back. But who cares about father figures who have left me out in the dust? A lot of you guys in the comments section have actually been asking me to remaster the old best starter videos, which I will be doing in the future. But today, I thought I'd dip my virgin toes in some new waters and try to tackle a bit more difficult Pokemon games.
Well, if he's a virgin in ROM hacks, I am too.
Wait, but hold on. We're not virgins because we can't get any, though, because, you know, we're just virgins by choice. You know what I'm saying? Just obviously. But anyways, as you can tell, I do have a guest joining me on this endeavor, and that is, of course, MysticUmbreon. Again.
Hey guys, I'm back, and I'm here to help out with this ROM hack video. Speaking of which, what ROM hack are we doing today?
Well, I was thinking we could do Pokemon Radical Red since it's kind of trending right now, and it is Kanto, so it's like the first region and stuff, so I thought it'd be like a cool little starter.
Dude? Radical Red? Are you fucking insane?
Possibly. I don't know. My psychiatrist hasn't diagnosed me yet, but I'll rain check you on that one. But anyways, yeah, Mystic and I are doing best starter for Radical Red. It's one of the more difficult ROM hacks out there, created by a developer named Supercell. There's level caps, EV trained and perfect IV mons, as well as competitive movesets. The game also plays set with Smogon rules, so you're pretty much doing a competitive battle every time you see a trainer. The game is also updated to Gen 8, so there's Galar mons, Megas, Dynamaxing, and the moves are updated, so I guess this should be pretty fun.
And over on my channel, we created the best possible team revolving around this video's said best starter. So we will have an elite squad to take on this game with, once we're all done here. We need to make sure we are properly prepared to take on this game. Trust me on that. So be sure to watch that video after this video is done. It'll be in the iCard above and in the description below.
And before we start, a couple of ground rules here. Most of you know how these best starters work, but if you haven't, just check out my last best starter. Like, takes 2 seconds, just click it. Give me money. But if you hate me and don't care about my existence, which is great and all, we will be looking at each important character's individual Pokemon and rate each starter's level of advantage or disadvantage on a scale of 1 to 5. 1 being totally disadvantaged and 5 being at the best advantage. We take a look at stats, type matchups, moves, basically everything. And we don't just take into account the gym battles in Elite Four either. We also take a look at rival battles and evil teams, since they are both very prominent in the story. And as always with this series, we add up more points the more times you battle an important character. For example, you battle Blue multiple times, so we use the rating system for each separate battle and add up the points from there. But on top of those rules, we also have some other ones to go along with it.
For the sake of not spoiling the game and going against the creator's wishes, we have decided not to go into too much detail about exactly what goes on in this game. We're going to be specifically talking about the trainer's Pokemon and sometimes highlight a move or two. But we won't be disclosing stuff like the trainer's EVs, nature, and some of their moves, so you can experience all that fun for yourself.
Besides that, everything else pretty much operates the same way as a regular best starter, so there isn't going to be anything crazy going on. Just remember though, there are no real opinions here, so if your favorite starter isn't technically the best, then I don't know, man. Just let me know in the comments, okay, or something. I don't know, whatever. But if you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like for that YouTube algorithm. Also, 67% of you who watch my videos aren't actually subscribed. Like what's wrong with you? Just subscribe. Turn the bell on. Give me money. Cure my depression. Also, follow me on Instagram. Your boy's almost at 1K. Help the kid out. And with all that being said, let's get started. Now that we got that intro out of the way, there are 3 starter Pokemon that you can pick in this game, which are Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle. Since Bulbasaur ended up being the best starter in the first Kanto video, I figured this mon would be a good one to start with. It's definitely the easiest choice to go with early on in the game, considering you fight Brock, Misty, and have a resistance to Surge's electric types. On top of that, once it evolves, it gains the Poison typing, giving it another stab attack and a good counter to one of the more powerful types in Fairy, as well as Erika's grass types. And in this game, you also get Mega Stones for the starter Pokemon, so another really good perk for picking Venusaur is that you can also get its Mega, which is a very, very thick boy. Its ability Thick Fat loses its weakness to fire and ice types, which helps a lot against people like Blaine and Lorelei, and with the latter actually gives you an advantage since a lot of her Pokemon are part water type. And as for the evil teams, we all know Giovanni loves his ground types, and even with a Nidoking, you can still do some serious damage. You also can optionally battle Johto gym leaders in this game, so there's an added plus there when you're fighting Price. As for the rivals, you not only fight Blue in this game, but Brendan and May as well, and in the former's case, Venusaur really does well considering his main Pokemon are Crawdon and Mega Sceptile. As for May, she's also got a fair bit of Pokemon weak to Venusaur, as well as her ace not being as effective thanks to Thick Fat.
We should also highlight, since this ROM hack is mainly based around competitive battling, we can't use items in battle. The only items that are allowed are the held items. This actually helps a lot due to it getting access to a range of recovery moves, like Giga Drain, Synthesis, and Leech Seed. Unfortunately, those are the last two positive aspects of Venusaur. Where Venusaur lacks, though, is in a variety of different ways. Even though it's really good early game for the first 3 Kanto gyms, there is also a mandatory battle before Brock, which will destroy Bulbasaur. With that in mind, grass types actually struggle a lot against Johto gym leaders, especially being Bugsy, Morty, Jasmine, and Claire, with no real added strengths. Not to mention, the struggle against Team Rocket is real too. Even with all those negative factors in mind though, there's still one that really makes it difficult to use Venusaur. Venusaur on its own is a decent Pokemon. Where it really shines though, is its Mega. In Pokemon Radical Red, access to that Mega Stone is more than halfway through the game. You have to wait so long to use Thick Fat.
Well, yeah. Guess you're right there. It would kind of be hard to use Venusaur here, considering all of that, but I guess that means Charizard has to be the best then. I mean, competitively speaking, it's a great mon to choose because you have multiple options of how you want to build it. And for certain battles, you can choose which option you want to go with before you actually take the trainer on. On top of that, Charizard breezes through the Johto gym leaders like Bugsy, Chuck, Jasmine, Price, and even potentially holds its own against Claire. As for the other stuff, Erika and Bruno are also an easy time as well. I also have to highlight that although it does not have any self-healing attacks like Leech Seed and Giga Drain, you can just put Roost on it, which would definitely help in that department. On top of that, you get way better coverage moves like Dragon Pulse, Shadow Claw, Focus Blast, Solar Beam, Earthquake, Thunder Punch, Rock Slide, Iron Tail, and even Crunch. Not to mention, with X, you can set up with Dragon Dance and potentially sweep an entire team. And to hold you over until actually getting the Mega, you can get a new hidden ability in this game for it being Flame Body, which can definitely come in handy in certain situations. Speaking of which, both Megas also have very good abilities, being Drought and Tough Claws. The former can even be used to build an entire team around.
Okay, enough of the Charizard sucky. You and I both know this thing is not the best starter. First and foremost, before I get this comment section's Jimmy's riled up, I don't hate Charizard. I just wish it never existed. And I hate it. You're probably thinking I'm gonna say JK, but I'm not. This thing's trash. It's a pain in the ass to use in Radical Red, primarily early on. You gotta go through Brock and Misty. Also, fire typing in Kanto, this isn't really all that useful, as it really only does well against Erika and Bruno, but that's it. Everyone else, it either struggles against or goes even. And Charizard just super heavily needs to rely on its Mega to be a viable partner in battle. At least Venusaur can sleep and stall in its base form, and Blastoise is a rapid spinner, plus it also has access to a set of moves that make it great. Charizard by itself is just kind of frail, and Radical Red being a competitive based ROM hack, a lot of trainers have Stealth Rocks in this game. It's not just a one-off battle either, it's a lot. Pretty much every other battle, after the halfway point, someone is packing Stealth Rocks. You don't want to throw Charizard out and have a fourth to half of its HP gone. Plus, remember, there are no healing items. and Roost will only get you so far.
Well, then I guess the only thing left to do is talk about the final starter, being of course the shellfish Pokemon Blastoise. To be fair, I was never that huge on this Pokemon, but there are a lot of great things about Squirtle. Firstly, it's the only Pokemon that learns a hazard busting move in Rapid Spin, and thanks to Sword and Shield, that move also increases your speed, which is an added obvious bonus. Combine that with Shell Smash, and it can be pretty dangerous on its own. Not to mention, it doesn't have the same problem as Charizard early on, which can be a very crucial part of the game considering you don't have much coverage. And even though competitive speaking wise, Blastoise might be the least effective Mega, in-game wise, it's actually very good. Mega Launcher basically makes all the Aura and Pulse moves stab, and you can get Dark Pulse, Water Pulse, and Ice Beam coverage fairly early on in the game. Aura Sphere does come later, but you can hold yourself over with Rapid Spin or Flash Cannon coverage until then. Not to mention, this thing also has very good defenses, so you can most definitely take some hits on either side of the spectrum without even its Mega.
And those positives really give it some huge weight. And I'm talking huge weight, because Blastoise is a pretty big boy. However, there are still some negative traits that it has. Two that really come to mind are its slow speed and low HP stat. There is also a rough patch with Blastoise in between Gyms 3 and 4, where you just completely struggle against Surge and Erica. There's also the rival battle between Brendan, among other things, but we will let you guys experience it for yourself. Blastoise also doesn't have access to recovery options like Charizard and Venusaur. Having recovery is always super useful on tanks, and the fact Blastoise doesn't have that for this challenge hinders its longevity. This is especially true considering you use your Hell item slot on a Mega Stone. Some of you may think that this is way too in-depth for a regular playthrough of a game, but Radical Red is competitive based, and you always want to keep this thought in mind.
And with that said, we have taken a look at all of the pros and cons of each starter Pokemon into account, so what is the best starter Pokemon in this game? Well, we tallied up the numbers, and the best starter in Pokemon Radical Red is Blastoise. I don't know if we made it obvious with how we scripted this video, but yeah, it's pretty lopsided how much easier it is to use during this playthrough.
We chose Blastoise for a few main reasons. One was because of its complete and utter destructive power with its Mega Evolution. The other reason is balance. Blastoise is a very balanced Pokemon in a game like this. I feel balance is very key, due to us pretty much having to make a competitive team. Since all the Pokemon are available to use in this game, there's a lot of speedier options to replace Charizard, and for grass types, I just wouldn't even bother using them as much. I did mention negative characteristics of Blastoise earlier, but it only hurts Blastoise a little in the grand scheme of things. Not all of its qualities are detrimental, because Blastoise is meant to be a nuclear tank, especially with Mega Launcher on its Mega Evolution. With Mega Launcher and those buffs also in mind, it does the best of the three against Team Rocket as a whole. Giovanni carries ground types, and the grunts carry mostly normal, dark, flying, poison, and psychic. 4 out of those 5 types Blastoise has coverage for, and none of them are particularly strong against it.
So here's the thing about Venusaur and Charizard. They're both great Pokemon to use in battle, but both of their weaknesses are far too problematic than using someone like Blastoise. Charizard is very vulnerable without its Mega Stones, and Stealth Rocks are a serious red flag for Y in base form. And grass types are just hard to use during normal playthroughs, considering they have a bunch of weaknesses, and Venusaur not getting its Mega until right before you take on Sabrina is just not good. Water can also handle what grass can do with less weaknesses to other types, making it hard to really pick the grass starter even with its stalling capabilities. It also doesn't help that Sleep Claws doesn't make it as broken. But I will say though, if we were talking about the best Pokemon to use for a Nuzlocke, it would be a completely different story. But that's a video for another day. The best starter in Pokemon Radical Red is Blastoise. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like and let me know in the comments section below. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel to become an Eryizo today. I would also personally like to thank MysticUmbreon for joining me today.
Always a pleasure rehiring you back. But yeah, we did the best team for Pokemon Radical Red, revolving around this best starter over on my channel. So if you guys want to see the entire platoon of Blastoise's companions, come head over to my channel. Link will be in the description and in the iCard above.
And if you're here from Mystic's channel and want to see some more content from me, click the other annotation on the right. And with that being said, we will see you guys on Mystic's channel.